Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here for another Superhero Saturday for She-Hulk Episode 2, Superhuman Law. And I gotta say, Episode 1 was really great. I really loved it. Um, I really like the CGI. I know that there was a lot of people that were super worried about that. So far, I've really loved it. Episode 2 did not let up or did not let me down in any way. I really loved it. It was directed by Kat Caro again, and it was written by Jessica Gao. This episode's really great. It's really awesome. We open up basically with the news reports kind of flashing up across the screens and everything like that of Titiana like fleeing like flood traffic court, and then that's where Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, is taking control of the situation and protects all the jurors and everything like that. And it was really great. I really loved it. I love the opening montage of it all. I also like that this is where we also get the one dude like being interviewed, like calling her pretty decent and calling her She-Hulk. Like in this interview, it's just it's so ridiculous. But it was really like this whole opening was really great. But then we move on to She-Hulk going to her lawyer bar, basically, like where her and the local lawyers or whatever all go and hang out. They're all whooping and hollering at her, like as she's walking in, like She-Hulk, She-Hulk. Like Nikki's even like, no, 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 you gotta look like her, do the She-Hulk thing, and like do the Hulk thing, and go in there like that. They're all hooping and hollering, and it's really great. We get Dennis just being sleazy again, who's just like, I don't know, I don't like him. I don't know why he has to show up again in this episode. He's like, because again, he's just a tool. Ugh, he's the worst kind of person. He's just like, yeah, I see a chick over there. I'm gonna go talk to it. That's why he is alone, because of stupid shit like that. So I do not like Dennis. But it's also really funny while they're there at the bar. She's making like a pro con list of what it means to like be a Hulk now with the free drinks and everything like that. And she's walking around as like She-Hulk, and then her boss at the DA's office comes up and is like, "Hey, this is a serious conversation. I need you to, tone it down. I need you to bring yourself back to normal, Jen." So she does it, and she's then a little bit drunker because in her She-Hulk form, she can drink a lot more than she can in her human form, as we learned in episode 1. But nonetheless, She-Hulk here is she's fired, basically. Long and short, she gets fired by the DA's office, saying that she's a liability. That in the end, the defense asked for a mistrial because they said that Jennifer Walters, prosecuting them and saving the jury would make them lean in favor with the prosecution and not give a fair chance to the defense. And the judge, they ended up declaring a mistrial, which completely unraveled their case, despite Jen's like, what was I just supposed to let everyone get blunt force trauma from that desk or whatever and not do anything? And he's like, no, 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 you did the right thing. It's just that you're a liability now, so we have to let you go. I can't keep you here anymore, and so that sucked. That sucks to hear that and be told that at a bar too, of like all places like that. Then we move into the day after her firing. We got Bruce calling. We get the montage of being rejected by a bunch of different law firms of like, hey, we can't do it, we can't offer you, and it's like at first it's like, oh, that stinks because I'm pretty qualified, and I'm very qualified actually. Jennifer Walters is, not me, not Jimmy Clark. I am not a lawyer. No, don't come to me for law, or any of your law help or anything like that. And so she's going through that, and that sucks. We've all been rejected from a job or not gotten it or whatever, and that sucks. It seems like she went through that. It's a montage, so we don't know how much time really went by, but decent amount of time. You got to line up interviews and stuff, get as many as you can, and then she finally has family dinner. This might have been one of my favorite parts of the episode, is just the obnoxiousness of their family, because let me tell you, I have never been more seen in my entire life than this family dinner here at the Walter residence, or at the Walters residence here. And it's just pure chaos there. And it was bad dinner, but it was bad dinner for Jen, because everyone, her idiot cousin, who I guess is just supposed to be like a stoner cousin or whatever, who works at who manages a Best Buy, and he makes the comment like, oh, you got fired or whatever, and then he's like, I got the manager position at Best Buy. And then another one of her aunt or uncles or whatever is like, oh, has a job and promoted. And it's just like, oh, okay, that's awesome. You're just being mean for no reason right now. That's not even cool. She saved people, and she got fired because she saved people, not because she was a bad lawyer. Kind of messed up. But either way. The best part, though, of this whole thing at her parents', though, is definitely the conversation that she has with her dad. She was like, I didn't want everyone to find out that I was She-Hulk like that, and on a great grand stage and stuff, and on front of TV and stuff, and she poses the same question to her dad, was I just supposed to let these people get hurt and stuff? And he's like, no, you did the right thing. This just and she's just going on and just letting it all off, and she even talks about it on how she does feel like there is one weight has been lifted, but she's almost kind of gained another one now. And this conversation with her dad was awesome. It was one of my favorite things, because we didn't get we got to see her and Bruce hang out, and they went on their emotional arc in episode 1 of hey, let's just hang out because it's been years since we've probably hung out with each other and whatnot, and so let's go hang out, let's go on a road trip or whatever. And then we all know how that turns out. She becomes She-Hulk. So with this, it's interesting that she has it's interesting that we're getting I would have expected more of her family to be seen in episode 1, but episode 1 is truly the origin for her. So episode 2 here, now we get to actually meet her at least extended family, her mom, her dad, and some other aunts and uncles and stuff, and they're great. But her dad, that conversation with her dad was really awesome. It was really amazing. It was really great. And then she is back at the bar after hanging out with her parents, hanging out with Pedro, getting a drink, and Mr. Holloway from GLK and H, the people she was arguing against in court in episode 1, comes and offers her a job. And we're like, whoa, stop the presses here. What? You are offering her a job? Why? She asks the same thing, why are you offering me a job? But she accepts it. she accepts it, and then we get to we get the awesome line of, like, as Mr. Holloway is walking out, we get Jen Walters is back. It was a really, she doesn't throw her arms up, but it was a really excited Jen Walters is back, and I love that. That was really awesome. That was really fun to hear and see. Then she's at the GLK and H, law firm the next day, or the following Monday, I think is when they actually say she starts. And so she's in the law firm, and there's a new Superhuman Law division. The name of the episode is Superhuman Law. So that's what this is. There's a new Superhuman Law division at GLK and H, and they want Jen Walters to head it. Well, more specifically, they want She-Hulk to run it, and even more specifically, want her always to be in She-Hulk form, whether at the office or in court. What she does at home, or I guess on nights, on weekends when she's not working, is up to her. But as long as she's, like, working in an official capacity for for GLK and H, they want her, in the She-Hulk form. We get some really great fourth wall breaking during all of this. She's like, oh, this is the only reason why I got hired. I'm totally qualified, but, like, everyone here is going to think that this is literally the only, like, reason why I got it. And she then, as she's breaking the fourth wall and having her own inner monologue and stuff with, like, us, the audience, she then misses what Holloway says to her as they're walking on the way to her office, and she's like, oh god, now I'm going to be having anxiety about what I just said to him. And because she was like, I am agnostic on whatever he was asking her. And he's like, huh, really? That's different. Unconventional for sure, but and so, like, now she's just like, I am going to be freaking out about what I just said, what I just agreed to or said or whatever for now, like, the next year. And that's so funny. Then there's then we get the introduction of Pug, or Poog, maybe is how he said it. And this dude is the same guy who played Adrian Chase in the Arrowverse on the CW. Adrian Chase there. It's the same guy who plays Pug here, or Pug here. And he just brings in a, like, welcome basket and a map to the best bathroom to poop in. And it did, like, the reaction from Jen Walters and Nikki were like, thank you. That was just hilarious. Awesome. I love it. It was just so funny. Then she gets introduced to her first case. And her first case, she finds out, is Emil Blonsky. That's right. One of the things that I was super excited about this show is that they were bringing back Tim Roth's Abomination. Now, we saw the Abomination previous to the Incredible Hulk in 2008, way back when. Yeah, that's right. Incredible Hulk came out after Iron Man. If Iron Man was maybe like May of that year, Incredible Hulk might have been like June or July of that year, possibly even August, because The Dark Knight might have been coming out in July. But either way, it also came out in 2008, and that was the one that Edward Norton starred in before he left and got recast by Mark Ruffalo. But Tim Roth's Abomination was in that, and that I always liked the Incredible Hulk movie from 2008. I never had as many issues as other people had with it. But one thing I did like is I've always liked Tim Roth, so I loved seeing him come in. And the fact that they were bringing him back here now for this show was excellent to me. It was such a treat. It's such a treat. And so, like, this is what we find out. We find out that Emil Blonsky, he signed his conflict waiver saying that no, he wants the She-Hulk now to represent him. He understands that there is the conflict of interest. Bruce is her cousin, and they fought and destroyed Harlem and all of that so many years ago and everything. And she's like, I really think I need to take a different case. I really think I need a different case. I don't think I'm the right person for this. And basically Holloway's like, hey, you either take the case, or you take the case and you keep the job, or you walk. Because he's our first client, we're doing it pro bono for him, because just due to the publicity of it, we'll be able to let people know about this law division at this law firm for them, and we'll let them know what Jennifer Walters is doing as as the She-Hulk lawyer, She-Hulk attorney at law. And we get the prison visit then, because the last thing in that meeting about talking about the job with Holloway and getting the Blonsky role and everything like that is, he's like, before you turn it down, meet the client. Just meet the client, see what happens. And as she's she meets him, she gets up to the prison, and she's in her She-Hulk form, because again, per her contract of what she's supposed to do, she is supposed to be in her She-Hulk form at all given time while out there for GLH and K, and so while she's out there representing them, she's supposed to be in the She-Hulk form. Well, here at this prison, there are no superpowers allowed. So she's got to come down from She-Hulk and go back to regular Jennifer Walters again. She's walking through. She's getting her the list of the rules and everything that's going on. Don't step onto the yellow line. If you get too close, alarms will go off. We are taking every precaution for your safety. And it all felt very Silence of the Lambs, going to visit the crazy killer in the in prison and stuff. So as light and compared to Silence of the Lambs, at least as light as this show is, it was really interesting that it totally started giving me that feel during this, her walking through and everything, very hello Clarice, from Silence of the Lambs and stuff. And it was great. So it was really kind of creepy, but then the rest of the scene totally unfolds, and it doesn't go into anything like Silence of the Lambs at all. But that walkthrough, we've taken all the precautions to make sure you're safe, but we still can't guarantee your safety. He's a very dangerous man. But the actual meeting of Blonsky, he's like, namaste. Your cousin Bruce, Savage Hulk, a brutal man. He tried to, kill me and hurt me as well. And basically, though, long and short, Blonsky starts making some decent arguments here that he was on loan from the British government. He's still Russian-born, Russian-born, raised in Britain in the Royal Navy, or the Royal Marine, I think it is. And then he was on loan to the United States government, pumped up with a bunch of that serum, and then that's where he became the bad guy. And so, like you say, and Jen's like, oh, so you didn't go on this rampage before that? And he's like, I was a decorated, soldier before any of that. And so, Jennifer Walters is like, I think there's a case here for us to do something with him and, try and help him. Which is cool. But, spoilers, if you have seen, Shang-Chi, then we know we've seen Abomination out and about. We know we've seen Abomination out and about, and not in this prison. So, as much as I like to believe everything that Blonsky's saying here, we like I like to believe that he wants to get better, because he talks about he made 7 um, pen pal friends here, that he just wants some property for him and his 7 pen pal friends to just go and live on, which is interesting. That I want to know who else is in this prison as well that he's saying, because is this like the same one that, like, because it said DOD almost, um, so it could be like a Department of Defense or Department of Damage Control or something, uh, something like that for them, and not entirely sure, but like this was great. Blonsky made some good points about his release. And, it was just awesome. It was awesome. I love that they brought Tim Roth back. And I love that they gave us Tim Roth in this, instead of just making it super like CGI fighty and big bad guy villain all around and stuff. Like, they gave us Tim Roth. And it also shows that, like, again, over time, as these people, different superheroes, in particular the Hulks, the Abomination, and the Incredible Hulk, or Bruce Banner, the Hulk, the Smart Hulk, if you will. When we have them, they have learned over time to control their change, and clearly being able to do it. Because again, we've seen Tim Roth as the Abomination in Shang-Chi, and we see him not as that here, and he's in that same cell, so it's like there's a clear connection to that. But after the meeting, like, I love that Tim Roth is back. I love that the last thing, basically, that Jennifer Walters says to Tim Roth is, like, stop saying what you think they want to hear, and just start speaking truthfully. And, like, that was, like, the last thing that really kind of, like, opened things up a little bit more. But then we get Jennifer, Walters calling Bruce after the Blonsky meeting. And when she's home calling Bruce, she gets a voicemail from Holloway, and it's like, hey, I expect an answer by end of day of, like, hey, are you still going to be with us? Are you going to not be here at all? And so she calls Bruce. Bruce picks up, and he is, she's running a mile a minute, kind of the same way that she was doing with her dad at the beginning of the episode, of just, like, letting all these things out. Like, have you talked to Emil Blonsky? Like, I know you haven't talked to him, and basically it's just running through all this stuff. Like, have you talked to him? Would you ever be willing to forgive him, move on? I've been asked to kind of represent him. Does that feel weird for you? If it feels weird for you, I'm not going to do it. And Bruce at the end of it is like, or Smart Hulk, if you will. Excuse me. At the end of it is like, oh, so you're just calling me to tell me that you're taking the job. And Jen's like, I'm calling to tell you that I'm taking the job. And it's a really great moment between the cousins there. But it's really nice that she did reach out, because it could be kind of weird. But the one thing that we are getting that Bruce isn't saying anything about is because, Jennifer's like, hey, when are you going to be in LA next? Like, are you going to be in LA anytime soon? And he's like, no, I'm working on some things. He's back in that Sicarian messenger ship, which I can only assume goes back to, side note here, goes back to Thor Ragnarok. In Thor Ragnarok, in the battle at the beginning with Thor and the Colosseum and the Grandmaster and all of that, the Hulk gets cut at one point, and his blood blossoms a plant. That, no pun intended, was the first seed being planted and growing for World War Hulk, or Planet Hulk, and then eventually World War Hulk. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff that they sprinkled out into here. And I'm also cool that like now She-Hulk will really like I love Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I love Edward Norton's Hulk. They were actually both really good. They're both really good for two different reasons, but I liked both. I like both of their performances. I think I lean actually a little bit towards more Edward Norton's a little bit more, but I love what Mark Ruffalo has done. And if we're gonna get some like Planet Hulk and World War Hulk and stuff like in the near future here, maybe we'll get a little bit of it in the Marvels because clearly like that happens cosmically and stuff. We already got Thor Love and Thunder, so we know it's not happening there. Could happen a little bit in Guardians 3. Possibly, but we don't really know. Um, Either way, they have the conversation. Bruce is on that ship getting ready to go wherever. Bruce does give the title of the show actually, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Like he gives that name out and whatnot. And that's really funny. So once they hang up, though, when I say they, once Jennifer gets basically disconnected because Hulk's ship goes super fast because they're out in space, so they're probably at least left the Milky Way. I don't really know how a cell phone would work out in space in any capacity, but I would assume that they would have been somewhere near orbit of Earth before, and then they left because she's like, "Oh, rude, just disconnect. Okay, bye." So it's going to be exciting to see where Mark Ruffalo's Hulk ends up now. I'm really excited that Jennifer, Walters ends. Obviously, it's a show called She-Hulk Attorney at Law, and we were teased with the Abomination. Obviously, she's going to take the case, and she does. She calls Holloway Beth, saying, "I'll take the case, and I'll represent Blonsky." And when he's like, "Hey, that's great, awesome. Oh, by the way, you may want to turn on the TV right now." Holloway says this and just hangs up. You may want to turn on the TV right now. Clicks. Boom. All of that fight night ring, underground fighting ring that we see in Shang-Chi with Wong doing that. So I'm excited that because Wong's supposed to show up in She-Hulk, which now we can only assume he'll show up in episode like 3 and on. But yeah, we get we get the exact same footage that we saw in Shang-Chi here of the underground fighting ring with the Abomination in there fighting Wong. And it's great. It's freaking great. I love it. It's so good. I love that they tied it together like that. And she's like, "Oh, that sucks." After she watches the videos and stuff, after she watches the news clip, then we go into the credits of the show, which I want to call out. They did the same thing in episode 1. They have these like courtroom that I can only call like production or storyboard drawings that they would have done like for the show. Actually, in the credit roll, similar to how they do the same kind of production drawings or stills or anything like that, like from The Mandalorian, with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, what they're doing there in their credit rolls there, they have like a similar idea of it. It's all, both of them are very like in the show. I'm not saying that in She-Hulk you're seeing stuff from Mandalorian in there, but like I just love that they gave us different like looks of like She-Hulk, because in one of them she's like lifting weights on like a Venice Beach thing, and another one is like the courtroom where we saw her like saving the jurors and stuff, and like it's great. I just love it so much. Then we get another mid-credit scene, and the mid-credit scene is of Jen in her She-Hulk form, doing chores for her dad. Like, holding up the back of the car while Ched, the stupid stoner cousin, is trying to fix the tire or whatever for her. Her for her dad while she's lifting the car, and then she's bringing in 5 different things of like, I don't know, I guess water machine, the big jugs that you put in the water machine with the little cups you see at doctors' offices or like, I don't know, any kind of like office place really, doctor, medical, whatever. And so one of those big jugs into the wall, it brings 5 of those things in, and then it just like cuts to the rest of the credits and stuff. And I just gotta say, She-Hulk has been delightful. I love the fourth wall breaking. One thing, one thing I did forget to mention is that they do another connection, or they do a connection to the Eternals, and they make another Mutants reference in one of the like news, like web page, like articles off on the side in the episode. They say a man gets into a bar brawl with Claws, which is obviously a hint at Wolverine, which I'm super stoked about. Love Wolverine. Excited to see. Hey, I love what Hugh Jackman gave us for like 20 years. Awesome. Love it. I'm also very excited to see somebody else, don the claws. So I'm stoked for this. And then the Eternals one is that they say that, like, since when has there been, like, a person sticking out of the ocean or whatever? There's a question about that, which is really funny because, like, it's true. They haven't, in any of these movies so far, like, the Tenement that was out in the ocean, like, people should be talking about this. Even, like, just, like, offhandedly, and nobody has really addressed it until here in She-Hulk. Now, maybe they could be trying to tie in more, like, superheroes in that sense, from Eternals, or, like, secondary characters that could have been involved with stuff like that, to be brought in to have Jennifer She-Hulk represent them. I'm not sure. All I know is that I'm in on this show. We're 2 episodes in. I love it. We've got 9 total. Super excited for the rest of this journey. But I really like She-Hulk. She-Hulk is a lot of fun. I highly suggest, if you haven't given it a shot yet, go ahead and do it. The first episode's 38 minutes. The second episode is like 31 minutes. It seems like they're going to be shooting between that 30 and 40 minute mark for all of these episodes, and I am here for that. The 30 minute mark is like my favorite kind of time frame for like a TV show or whatever. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying the ride because, again, I don't really know that much about She-Hulk like most of these other shows like Hawkeye and Moon Knight and stuff. These aren't characters that I know a whole bunch about. So I'm really excited to see what these shows and these new movies and stuff are showing me of these characters, so that I go back and look at these new different comics and these different characters and stuff. I'm really excited about it. That's one of the things that I love about all of these movies and shows, is that it leads me down a new path to try and find some new things that I wasn't looking at before. So with all that being said, I want to thank you all for joining me here on this Superhero Saturday for She-Hulk Episode 2, Superhuman Law. I hope you all stay safe.